coming up on Lifestyle.
You can always find a cop in New York City that will roll down the window and go, "Hey, Peterman!" He was a raving lunatic and a legend in his own mind. She was not attractive, even by backward standards. Tom Hanks once said to me, "I read the stories to Rita." He said, in bed, and he says, "I use your voice."
Yeah.
Dancing with the Stars was God's great practical joke.
Welcome to Lifestyle, the award-winning life coaching show that helps you live your best life possible. Here's your host, Roy Ice.
Have you ever wondered what it really means to live an extraordinary life? Not just one filled with success, but one led with imagination, curiosity, and purpose? Well, today's guest is a master of reinvention. You know him as the iconic J. Peterman from Seinfeld, but his story stretches far beyond sitcom fame. From Broadway to ballroom dancing, best-selling books, to hosting the National Dog Show, he's lived a life defined by creativity and bold choices. Please help me welcome the unforgettable John O'Hurley.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great now.
Good to see you.
So good to see you. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Yes, we're excited to see you. They look more excited than
all my French-Canadian cousins.
they look more excited than finding some very unique corduroy from Burma.
An elusive swatch of corduroy. Right.
You defined a character that, by far, on Seinfeld, took the world by storm.
He was a raving lunatic and a legend in his own mind.
Did you think starting out, I mean, when they called you to come do the show...
I said no.
Did you really?
I said no. No, I had, the way the story went, I was doing a sitcom on ABC called A Whole New Ball Game.
Yeah.
Very funny show. One of the greatest casts I've ever worked with. True to form, ABC called up one morning, Wednesday, saying, "Don't bother coming to the read-through this morning. We pulled the plug on the show." That's as cruel as it gets.
Yeah.
That evening, I went out to dinner with my manager, crying in my beer, trying to take the cancellation as personally as I possibly could. And Larry David's office had called while we were there at dinner and said, "We have this guest star tomorrow on Seinfeld, and we think John could, chew it up and have a lot of fun with it. It's just one show, but have some fun and do it." And so I just turned to my manager quietly and said, and it truly was my ego speaking.
Yeah.
It was just me saying no. I was still licking my wounds over the cancellation of the show, and I didn't want to go guest star on somebody else's show. And at the time, I didn't watch Seinfeld, so I really didn't, even though it was the #1 show on television. So I didn't, so I said no. Well, my manager never called. And at 10 o'clock the following morning, he said, "They're waiting for you over at the read-through. Go on over." I went over, and sure enough, the rest was history.
That character, being Elaine's boss, that was very unique in his delivery. And these lines, I don't know how you memorized those lines.
Well, it gave the writers a way to write in long form rather than writing dialogue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would write in terms of monologues. If I could say it in 60 words, that would be the way Peterman would talk. And they basically scripted the characters so that he would talk the way the J. Peterman catalog is written. For those of you who don't know what the Peterman catalog is, it is the most unusual clothing catalog in the world. It sounds like a Hemingway novel about an Oxford button-down. And it has always this incredible language. Tom Hanks once said to me, he said, "This is the only catalog I keep by the bedside." He said, "and I read the stories to Rita." He said, in bed, and he says, "I use your voice."
There is a real J. Peterman
There is
catalog.
a real J. Peterman company, a real J. Peterman, John Peterman.
Yeah.
They're based out of Lexington, Kentucky. They've been going strong for some 35, almost 40 years now.
Yeah.
And all he did was he started off with a duster coat, a long coat, and he built that into a $50 million a year enterprise. And 2 years after Seinfeld ended, he went bankrupt. So I wrote him a large check, and he and I have owned the J. Peterman Company ever since. So I like the role so much, I bought the company.
That's awesome. I've heard you say it's the greatest identity theft.
Yeah, it really is, because we'll be walking up at Madison Avenue after the morning board meeting, and he and I will be going to our favorite Italian restaurant for lunch, and we'll be walking up there, and you can always find a cop in New York City that will roll down the window and go, "Hey, Peterman!" And they're not talking to him.
I'm talking to you.
They're talking to me. Now, think about that for just a second. All he did was run a successful clothing catalog company, and one morning he wakes up and he's a guest star on the #1 show on television, and that's it for him, because he will, for the rest of his life, never be known as J. Peterman.
I think that's one of the most amazing things
It's bizarre.
about Seinfeld, though, is they took real life characters, real life, even catalogs, and they wrote it into the show.
Add to that, they never asked permission.
Yeah.
He just literally woke up one morning and people were saying to him, "You were on Seinfeld last night." He goes, "No, I was on a plane coming home." They said, "No, you were on Seinfeld last night," and it was the original episode of meeting Elaine in the rain, and her walking up and saying to me, I love this line, "Excuse me, sir, I wasn't watching where I was going." And I replied, "Well, that's the best way to get to someplace you've never been." Which is, if you think about it, an absolutely genius piece of philosophy.
It's philosophy right there.
It's all in the writing, as Shakespeare once said. The play is the thing, not the actor, not the producer, the play, the words.
That's right.
We had the best writers on television.
That's right. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We're back with John O'Hurley, and joining us is Marie Mitchell.
Yes, hello.
Dressed in parallel.
We
I
are
might say. Look at this.
matching.
Are you guys in a singing group I
I
don't know
don't.
about?
I wish we were.
I think, as I was joking with you, I said we look like the Carpenters.
We
or
do.
something.
We do.
Definitely, we're in 70s blue.
Yes, yes.
Unfortunately, you can't be on Dancing with the Stars a second time because it looks like you're...
Yes,
This would have been kind of an outfit that we would have worn.
Exactly. So speaking of performers, though, what about that? What about Dancing with the Stars? Tell me, how did you...
Dancing with the Stars was God's great practical joke.
Okay, I get it.
I was on the first season, and I was the first person they asked
Okay.
to be on the show. They took me to lunch one day in the middle of Beverly Hills, and they showed me this show from Britain called Strictly Come Dancing. And I said, well, that's wonderful. It's beautiful. Live music, live singing, beautiful choreography. And I said, this is going to be a great hit. I'll be glad to host it.
Mhm.
They said, no, we want you to do it.
Okay.
And I said, no, I'll host it. And they said, no, we want you to do it. And I thought, and I live by my imagination. And when I see a success in my mind, I got to do it. I've always said that to myself. So I said, all right, who else have you got?
Uh-oh.
They said, you're the first one we've asked.
Okay.
But now that we know we have you, we know we can get Evander Holyfield.
Okay. Even better.
So I said, I finally got it.
You got it.
They were using this summer replacement series to give America what they'd been hoping for more than a dozen years. The Evander Holyfield, John O'Hurley matchup together on this level playing field of ballroom dancing.
I love it. I love it.
If you remember, I took out the champ in the third round with my foxtrot.
Congratulations, you did.
Yes, you did.
Now, what kind of preparation did that take? Because you're not a dancer.
No, I'm not a dancer. I'm the guy who goes to the wedding reception with a glass of Chardonnay, stands and holds up a wall as soon as they start the dancing and the music.
As you should.
And I say, knock yourselves out, Shriners. No, I was not a dancer at all. But I'm also very competitive. And it occurred to me early on in the rehearsal structure that we were not as bad as I thought we were.
Okay.
that we were actually pretty good. And if I really applied myself, that we would come off. And I was certainly the oldest person, one of the oldest they've had on the competition, and consequently got the oldest dancer. And so, we were kind of a step behind when we began, but we just, she was the number one ballroom dancer in the world, Charlotta Jorgensen. And what happened was the ease of learning all of these moves was that she allowed me to speak in my language without having to learn all these dance
Interesting.
terms.
Yeah.
If I would, move side, 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 side like that, I call them steppies.
Okay.
So we'll take little 6 or 7 little steppies. So she learned my language in dancing. And that way I could assimilate all of this stuff. And back then we had to fill 100 by 75 foot stage with
Oh, wow.
with the routine. Now they only dance in a little
Yeah.
circle. But it was so. I mean, I was hyperventilating.
Yeah.
You literally couldn't speak because you were moving so fast and so completely across this enormous. Rather than moving the cameras to us, we had to move to the cameras. So
Yeah.
So
it made that first season very difficult.
I imagine I'd be hyperventilating before I started because,
Same.
doing something you've never done before like this, it really is a mind game.
Well, I had done that at birth.
You'd never been born?
I'd never been born before.
Yeah.
So after that, it was just got
Is
the
it-
umbilical cord, and here I am.
But for things that, you are being judged literally by judges, by viewing audiences over something you're just learning.
Dancing with the Stars is a little like it's a little like if I handed you a violin and said, could you possibly have a concerto for the entire United States audience to listen to next Tuesday night?
Yeah, it's not happening.
That's how foreign it was for me. And some styles I acclimated to, other styles, like anything that ended in a vowel. If it was the salsa, the rumba, anything that ended in a vowel, I couldn't do. I had these tight little country club hips, and they weren't going to be moving. But I was able to work my way through it, and ultimately, they had all sorts of trouble with the judging and the counting the ballots and the whole thing. So they ended up having to actually redo the first episode or the first year and into a dance-off that I eventually won. And so all was right with the world.
All
Yes.
was right. Speaking of your country club hips that you said, golf. Do you think that had anything to do with it? You're an avid golfer.
I was a much better golfer after I
After-
played golf.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, I was so much more nimble. I dropped 20 pounds. Oh yeah, I was playing golf like I had never played before.
Interesting.
Yep. Well, it helps the whole body become more coordinative. It really does. Dance is a remarkably perfect exercise for couples to do together or do individually. It really is.
Yeah,
love
yeah,
that.
and you not only did that as a couple, I understand you golf as a couple.
My wife and I golf as a couple. Yes, my wife, she was one of the top golfers at Baylor, which has won the NCAAs on many occasions, and worked for the Golf Channel. She has her own golf line called Lola Sport right now, Lohla Sport. Beautiful, beautiful golf line. Yeah, her golf has been her dynamic for her entire life, and consequently ours as well.
Yeah,
That's
staying active has obviously kept you young.
It has. It has. Yeah. Well, also I went gray early, so it's tough to tell.
It's hard to tell. Awesome. We got to take a break, but don't go away. We'll be right back. We're back with John O'Hurley and Marie Mitchell. And I think, John, one of the television programs that I hear you most frequently on is the National Dog Show. Every Thanksgiving in fact, this past Thanksgiving at my in-laws' house, we watched the entire National Dog Show.
Well, thank you very much. You are not alone.
It's one of the most watched events on television.
Next to the Super Bowl, it is the #1 show on television. We get an audience of 30 plus million every single year. It is amazing to me that I haven't killed that show yet. I love to see the videos of the dogs actually watching the show intently.
So
And
cute.
my favorite is when they get down off the couch and they'll walk over to the large screen television set and look the dog straight in the eye and then walk around to the back of the television set to see where the dog is.
Love that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fun.
24 years. So do you have a personal favorite breed?
Well, for the show, I like the Irish setter, and I'll
Okay.
tell you why. We have this beautiful blue carpet, and this auburn dog comes rolling in with the body and the neck absolutely erect and coming in and just strutting its stuff around them. And it looks like the redhead that just walked into the cocktail party and all the heads turn. It's just an elegant looking.
Wow.
Now, would I want to own that kind of a dog? No, absolutely not. But for a show, it's a show dog. I think it's just beautiful.
I owned an Irish setter as a kid, and I can confer it was not the most intelligent dog that has ever been in our house.
They're not all broke out with brilliance. I'll tell you.
Yeah. I have a Maltese. And I understand you had a Maltese for...
One of the oldest living Maltese. Yeah,
That-
20, almost 22 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. Our Maltese, Colonel Bigsby, Chief of Security at the ICE estate. I always like looking down at him when we're watching the dog show because while we're watching these majestic dogs prancing with their heads held high, and I'm looking down at my dogs that look like they owe the IRS some money. I love seeing all these amazing breeds, but I have absolutely no idea why one breed wins over the other.
Well, I'll tell you, nobody had a larger learning curve than I did. I had never been to a dog show. I'd never seen one. NBC just thought it'd be a lot of fun if they stuck me in one of the chairs and put the expert next to me.
Yeah.
The first year, they brought out the Old English Sheepdog to the judge, who is this elegantly gowned woman. And if you don't know what an Old English Sheepdog is, it's 80 pounds of hair and 2 pounds of actual dog. And she walks around to the back of the dog and she starts picking through all of the hair on the back of the dog. And I said to David Fry, the most knowledgeable man in the world of dogs, I said, David, can you explain what she's doing? He says, John, she's putting her hands on the dog to check and make sure that the shoulders and the hips align with the written specification of what the perfect Old English Sheepdog should be. He says, because you can hide a really bad dog with a really good haircut. And I said, you're telling me I went to junior prom. So it gets worse. She walks around in the front of the dog. She starts picking through all of the hair on the dog's head. I said, what is she doing now? He says, John, she's trying to find the eyes to gauge the attentiveness of the dog. And I said, really? I said, well, if she picks through all of that hair and she finds only one eye, she's got the wrong end of the dog.
Right.
It's an amazing show. And what I like about it is that it's good television. You watch it and you go, that was 2 hours well spent.
Absolutely. Now, you're working on some really forward-thinking stuff as well now in the area of energy.
I am. I'm an entrepreneur on the side. I buy and sell, good ideas, not the least of which was the Peterman Company, which is still a great idea. But I stumbled upon an interesting technology that takes any form of waste and turns it into large amounts of energy. But it does that with absolute zero emissions. It is portable, it is scalable, and even better, it powers itself.
Interesting.
So it's one of the most interesting things in the world, in a world where we have never attempted to apply any sort of high technology, our waste. We still do the same thing that we did 100,000 years ago when our knuckles scraped the ground. We burn it or we bury it. And that's all we ever do with our waste. Now, with this technology, we can process the waste. We can turn it into large, profitable energy. Liquid or electricity. Yeah. We can take care of sewage treatment plants, zero out landfills. We can take care of the used tires in the world, 360 million in the U.S. alone. We have nowhere to put them. Wow. That many tires. Yeah. We have signed up 104 different projects across the country, and we're set to go. So we have. It's a good idea.
Is there a place people could go to find what
If
this
you
is about?
want to, if you'd like to learn more about it, I made sure that the website is very simple to understand. Gold Seal Industries plural.com. Very simple. Gold Seal Industries plural.com.
It sounds exciting. I can't help but picture that this is a device on the back of a DeLorean in
It
Back
has
to
the
the
same
Future.
feel. You drop the banana peel in, and it powers the thing. But it's a much larger scale. We
Right.
deal with 100 tons of energy, 100
Okay.
tons
Yeah.
of garbage at the same.
Well, I can't
is
wait
fantastic.
to see how that ends up. And I'm so thankful that you give us some of your valuable time today sharing with us here on the show.
Thank you. It's been wonderful to
Thank
be
you.
here, and thank
Yes,
you again.
Thank you
For matching. Yes. Thank you so much. We got to take a break, but don't go away. I've got some very helpful words to help you live your best life right when we come back. Let's talk about the unsung life coaches in our lives with fur, feathers, or fins, our pets. These little companions do more than just beg for treats or nap on the couch. They transform us. Studies from the Human Animal Bond Research Institute show that pet owners experience lower stress, reduced loneliness, and improved heart health. In fact, simply petting a dog or cat can release oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which boosts mood and lowers blood pressure. But beyond the science, pets give us something profoundly human, the chance to care, to love, and to show up for someone else every single day. Feeding, walking, cleaning up, these aren't chores, they're acts of connection that teach us responsibility and empathy. Whether it's a wagging tail or a soothing purr, pets remind us that joy is found in simple moments spent together. So go ahead, snuggle your life coach, well, unless it's a goldfish, because they're doing wonders for your life. Don't forget that you can find exclusive content on all of our guests. Check us out on social media using the handle Lifestyle with Roy.